What is up, everybody? Back at it with another awesome interview. Gonna do a quick shout out to the sponsors that keep this channel going. Big shout out. We got Fry's Critters. Um, Amazing person, does a lot for the community. He is out on Instagram, Facebook. Make sure to check him out. He is from Australia, but does so much support. And then another huge shout out to Geeky Gecko Creations, the largest leopard gecko channel on YouTube right now. Big shout out to him. Huge supporter. I love that guy. Make sure to check him out. If you guys are looking for leopard geckos, if I don't have what you're looking for, I'm sure my boy does. Make sure to let him know that I sent you over there, and he'll make sure to hook you up with an awesome discount. Zilla Footwear are another awesome sponsor. If you guys are looking for some special shoes with awesome reptiles on them, whether it be snakes, lizards, frogs, anything. They've got tons of reptiles on there. If you're a reptile keeper or a shop owner and you want to have your own personalized logo and a personalized one of your iconic reptiles put on shoes, you can message them on Instagram or Facebook, tell them I sent you over there, and they'll hook you up. But without further ado, let's bring on our special guest for the night, and I'll go ahead and let him introduce himself.
What is going on, everyone? My name is Mark. Work with snakes, mainly cobras, my favorite. That's about it.
Right on, man. So what is your favorite reptile to work with?
Probably, it's hard to decide, but just love handling wise the cobras, just the way they behave. So in general, just cobras. Getting it down to one species is probably impossible.
How many species of venomous do you keep?
10. Let's just say 10. Maybe more. I don't know.
How many venomous do you have in general?
I think it's around 20. Lost count, honestly.
Nice. So what got you into the hobby?
So that's even hard to say. I feel like I just always loved them. My parents didn't like them, but I just always loved them. Even then, even though my parents didn't like them, they would take me out to go look for them. Watching things like Jeff Corwin and Steve Irwin, that's when it, I guess, really exploded. Fry, my brother, thank you so much.
Fry is a huge supporter of the channel, one of our awesome sponsors. Love showing up. He was super excited when I told him that you were coming on. He's like, "Oh, no way!"
Yeah, he's a great guy. I love him. Same with
sure.
Aaron.
Yeah, the homie Ron. I love that I started that too. I always every time he used to come in there, I started doing that, and now I notice like 50 other people just putting the Ron when he comes into the chat. So what was your first reptile before jumping into venomous?
So first in general was some type of lizard. That was the first thing I was allowed to keep. But the first snake was a albino corn snake, I believe. That was
Ooh.
The first snake my parents would allow me to keep.
Right on. So how long have you been working with reptiles in general compared to working with venomous?
So in general, probably since I'll just guess 12 years old. It was probably when I was allowed to keep that corn snake. Maybe even later. It's hard to remember. But venomous, it'd be over 10 years, I'd say. But professionally, actually doing it as a job, close to 10 years.
Nice. And let's talk about that. So you run a really big show on YouTube. For those that don't, for a lot of my followers that just came over from TikTok, Mark has been doing this for a while, and I can say this for myself. I've learned a lot from watching his videos. Because he works with way more than what I'm able to here in Arizona. In Arizona, my laws, I can only keep what's native. So here, it's only crotalus. which is just like Atrox, Cerberus, things like that. We don't have very many. Oh, I mean, we do have the most diversity in the U.S., but other than venomous, rattlesnakes, we can't have anything else without permits. So you work with lapids and a ton of crazy stuff. So let's talk about that.
Mm.
um, what made you want to jump in on YouTube with the venomous?
So I think first it was Instagram. That's where I don't know what happened. I just decided to like type in snakes or something, and then I realized there's so many people out there that love them as much as I do. Then I noticed that there's so much negativity. I was like, cool, there's so many people that love snakes, but then I look at the comments and it's people arguing with each other. And then I started posting on there. And then on YouTube, I would post like every now and then. Just first of all, to be a positive force. So at least there's a place where people could come ask questions and not get talked down to. That was the main thing with starting this, was trying to be inspiration and also a positive force for those wanting to learn.
And I love that. That's another reason why I reached out to you, is that's what we try to do here. I try to be more upbeat, more, less negative, and to show people that, these animals aren't monsters just out to get you. Especially on the venomous side, is almost every time I show any of our venomous off, it's, why is it not biting you? Why isn't it this? Why isn't it that? And it's I feel like if I got $1 for every time I got asked why hasn't it bit you, or why it trying to bite you, I feel I'd be a millionaire right now.
Yeah.
I do apologize about the dogs. There's an ambulance that went by, and they just, I don't know why they feel the need. They're
That's no problem at all. And Eric, thank you so much. I love Eric. Great guy.
Eric's here too. Oh, great. Here we go. Now it's a party. I've known Eric for a long time. That's my brother from another mother over there. I'm just a better looking one. Him and I, we used to do a show together. He used to jump on with me a lot. It was always fun. I remember he used to keep venomous too. He had cobras. He had a little albino monocle, and that thing was fun.
I think he still does, doesn't he?
I don't know if he still has them. I know. I don't think he has them in home anymore. I think he moved them to a buddy's place. I don't know. I know he was talking about getting them again. But I know he's doing a little bit there. So let's touch on a couple things. So with venomous, how do you feel about people that are just like, let's see, like kind of just using them as more of a wow factor of like, what's the best way to do this?
Like
Not free handling, but them trying to like not conversation, because there's people that I've seen just recently that are free handling, but it's like trying to get them to strike at things while they're handling, and it's something that's been brought up in my life quite a few times. I actually got brought up a little bit ago, because I don't promote people to do free handling, but I can handle one of my little Atrox, who I've had since it was literally born. That thing doesn't do anything, and I just use it to show, hey, it's not trying me because of so and so. I've shown it no aggression. It's not giving any signs of threatened, things like that. It don't smell like food, but this is what this is. Like, I give more of an detailed show. But something that has been brought to my attention is now there's people showing that they can handle them, but they're trying to provoke a bite via while handling.
So with
Could that
free handling stuff,
sorry, go ahead.
With the free handling stuff, I personally don't care what other people do. I've done that stuff plenty of times in the past, even if I'd never showed it. I've been doing this thing where I like react to the past, showing these old clips that I never showed where I did stuff like that. The teasing, something I don't like, but I understand it. It's what sells. Even on the TV shows, you see how they're taunting to get it to strike, to make it more sensational. So I understand that. I don't like that, but and that's something I guess speak out against, but I don't blame others for doing it because it is what sells. It's why they're
Right.
super successful, you know. But it does
Right.
I guess the thing that bothers me is that it does play into people now that they think that these animals are out to get them, not understanding that the person is causing it.
Right. And that's been a goal of mine here to talk about. I just wanted to kind of have a secondary, opinion from somebody who does work with, venomous. And because, like I said, our viewership tonight is mostly people who either don't have reptiles and just love reptiles, or just people that are really interested in what we work with. And then we have a couple people that have reptiles here, Eric and Fry and them. But a lot of people that are here tonight followed us from TikTok, because I did promote this over there, that are just here to learn about that. And I'm trying to teach them that they're not all snakes are just out to get you. I think just in that live I was on for like an hour, I think I heard 6 stories on how snakes chase them.
Mm.
And it's something I'm trying to teach different about, try to educate the public a little bit more on reptiles in general, but especially venomous.
Yeah, for sure. And like out of
and
all
that's
the ones,
oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, out of all the stuff I work with, because I don't want to get into like where I work or anything, but I work with over 200 some snakes. Almost every single one very laid back, especially since they're not teasing. They're not afraid. But like anything, they all have different personalities. So this one, the black Pakistan cobra, my favorite, he's very defensive, but his brother or sister could be very laid back. But even in that situation, he will strike with his mouth closed the majority of the time. He will not come up behind me and strike. So, these snakes, even though I could use this one to make it look crazy, I try to show that even though he's defensive, look at him backing away,
Yeah. And I've been doing that with our iconic one, Karen. She's a Crotalus atrox. Now, Karen, she'll do two different the 2 strikes. She'll do the fake one where she doesn't even open her mouth, but she'll like which I call the pump fake. And then there's the actual strike. But at the end of the day, she always backs up and just backs off, and then she just rattles. And I try to explain to everybody about, that it's not. It's not like it's just out to get me. She's just very defensive. And she's been that way since I got her. She was a field collected, but she was actually attacked by a dog. And she had a nice wound on her belly from the dog biting and thrashing. And I got called. It was under this lady's couch. And so I had to go get her. And the dog was fine. It got bit, but it lived. But she's done a full recovery. But ever since, she's just mean. Like she doesn't like right now. She's calm, but if even just standing up really fast, she'll rattle. Like she keeps an eye on me. She doesn't like very fast movements. Like she's eyeballing me as I can see her now. Ronnie, appreciate you, brother. Any snake, I believe. I'm just kidding. Karen is beautiful, right? Yeah, Karen's always fun. I have a hognose that bites at everything, and I put her in her enclosure. Hognoses are not the smartest snake in the world. I watched a guy fed it on a plate, and instead of eating the pinky on the plate, it was trying to eat the plate. Like it was just sitting there trying to eat that. And I was like, wait a minute, something ain't right.
Yeah, Matthew has a lot of beautiful hognose snakes. Those morphs with they're very red. He has a lot of beautiful hognose.
Nice. I like
Mm.
the super anaconda stuff. They look beautiful to me. I myself, I don't have any hog noses anymore. I wish I didn't sell out of them all those years back that I did. I need to get back to hog nose because my wife's been hounding me for the derpy looking hog nose, and she ended up getting me into Kenyan sand boas. Somehow I leave her alone in an expo for 5 minutes, and next thing I know, I have 6 sand boas.
I've only worked with
Let's
them like
see.
one time. It was a very defensive one. Are yours pretty laid back?
My sand boas are super chill.
Mm.
Like it's like watching Tremors though when she eats, because none of them will touch frozen thawed.
Mm.
To save them, they won't do it. So I have to feed live, but like they're all in actual sand, and it's like, I don't know if you ever seen the movie Tremors, but
Mm-hmm.
like it's basically like that. It is nuts. They just shoot out of the ground and freaking wrap them up, and I was like, "Yep, I'm not." But I remember the first time I got them. Before I even fed them, I was looking for them in the sand. I'm shifting my fingers through the sand trying to find them. Um, yeah, no more. No more. I was all hooked now. After watching them eat and wrap their food, I'm like, that could have been my finger. I am good. um, but yeah, no, they're pretty laid back. You really got to work with the babies, or like juvenile to babies. That's when they're like super defensive, trying to whip around and bite. And like nowhere is safe on that because they can just whip around all, like, not, I don't want to say like 360, but they can damn near close, kind of like anaconda. They just open their mouth and flip around. It's crazy. I use aspen bedding. It doesn't. It's dry. Oh, okay. I like that. I like aspen for those. I love it over here. Right, Karen. Yeah, Karen is, she's all calm, and then Jack in the Box. um, so what is your favorite species in general?
What's that? Sorry.
What is your favorite species in general?
Can't decide. I always say the desert horn viper is my favorite viper.
Ooh,
The eyelash viper, favorite arboreal. Uh, and I always say the black Pakistan's my favorite cobra. But every time I bring out like the banded snouted cobra, I always say that's my favorite too. So it's hard to say.
it is. It's really hard to pick, but just when you work with as many, different species, it's always hard to choose which one is your favorite, because each one has its own pros and cons.
Mhm.
So I like asking that because it's always like a really hard thinker.
Mhm. Do you have a
um,
favorite?
me, it's hard. It's between my Cerberus, because I really love Cerberus. Um, and for those that don't know what Cerberus is, that's my Arizona Blacks. Or the Speckleds. And I think it's because the Speckleds are, I mean, like you said, the individuality is insane, but like the localities, each one, you got the blue speck, the white speck, gray speck, they're all the same snake, just found in different areas and different colors. And it's
Mm.
crazy. So like right now we've only got a blue speck. We did have two, but that one was a wild caught and it wouldn't eat. So I gave it back to the person that gifted it to us. And I guess he released it back into the wild. And so far, I guess he's seen it in his backyard twice since then, because he's on
Mm.
South Mountain. So that's native to these guys. So as long as they're on his property, he's able to mess with them. But outside of that, you can't mess with them. Lots of favorites. Yeah, it's hard to. Can we see some? Yeah. I mean, I can bring some stuff out while we're talking and stuff. I don't know about him. His stuff is a lot bigger than mine.
Well, I
um,
can go grab one right now, and then later I can bring in some more. Do you?
Oh, for sure. If
Do you
you're
mind
cool with
a
it, that'd
second?
be awesome.
All right, I'll go out there and get one right now, and then later I'll bring another one in or something.
For
Sound
sure.
good?
I appreciate that. Yeah. Straight girl wants one, so probably gonna have to deal with it regardless. I got you, bro. Whatever you need it, bro. I got you. Fire. Let's see. Who to pull out? Don't really want to bother that one. Let's see. Where's my tiny hook? Tiny hook. Tiny hook. Stop. The one I'm going to bring out, this is Kyle's brother, and Kyle's brother just shed out and is looking gorgeous. Let me see if I can get the shed out without him getting too angry at me. Kyle's temperament is completely different from Kyle's sibling. Kyle is a really laid back, and sibling is not. So we got a beautiful little shed here. Pretty cool. Let's see. Let's get this. Come here, buddy. Ooh, don't bite me. Good. Kyle's sibling is actually one of the largest males that was in this group. Beautiful. Here, I'm gonna solo out real quick while he's still doing that. I see. So that way you guys can see a better look. So this is Crotalus atrox. This is a young male. This one's a lot bigger than Kyle. She is the sibling to this one, but this one was one of the larger. Kyle was actually the tiniest of them all. And I hear he's back, so I'm still though. There we go.
Who'd you have out?
I pulled out a Crotalus atrox, little captive born. This dude is a little firecracker. Keep an eye on this one. This one was just one of the normal babies that came out, but I really like his pattern though.
Yeah, very.
The other one that I have, oh yeah, the other one I have, she was the sibling to this one, but she came out when she was. I didn't think she was gonna make it. She was so tiny, like I thought she was underdeveloped. And that's the one that I can actually handle.
The one you were talking about, free handling?
Yeah, that's the one that she's super chill. Oh, look at that.
So this is the banded snouted cobra I was talking about. That's one of my favorites because look at this. Most cobras have bland pattern, but just something simple like banding makes it so beautiful to me.
Yeah, what up, brother?
Derek, what's going on? But how incredible is this? Look at that face.
That is beauty. Now, how old is that one?
This one, I'm not sure. Got it from somebody, and yeah, I don't know. I can't remember if they even told me or if they even knew.
So the one that he is handling, no, that is not a rattlesnake.
I think Matthew is probably talking about your snake.
Oh yeah, mine was a rattlesnake. That one was a Western Diamondback rattlesnake. It was, yeah, that was Kyle's sibling. That one I don't really have a name for. This one here is Kyle. Kyle's also Western Diamondback, but Kyle is when Kyle was born, I didn't know it was a male or female at the time, but it was like considerably smaller than the rest of the litter. I mean, maybe 75% smaller. Like I thought this thing was really, really underdeveloped. But It's growing really, really well. It's just still really, really small. Um, just really tiny. I don't recommend people do this. This one I've had since it was born, but still, this is Kyle. Beautiful
How
Western
old did you
Diamondback.
say?
She's about 6 months, but
So the
she's
runt,
growing.
huh?
She's
Yeah.
yeah, tiny runt, tiny, tiny. Like I didn't think she was gonna make it. I thought she was underdeveloped, and just really, really small. But she is just a sweetheart. Real, real nice demeanor. Um, has no like. I mean, I've worked with this thing so much that I can touch her rattle, and she has no care in it whatsoever, and just doesn't care. Super sweet. One in a million Diamondback. There's like I said, this is the same to the one that I just had out, and
Hmm.
that one is a completely night and day difference. That one's like 3 times the size of her, born the same time, same day, and just completely different. But this one's got a really, really unique pattern though. This
Did
one's
it
got
have
like
any
like
trouble
none of
eating?
um it's just growing super slow. So it eats like a champ, but it's just not growing as fast as the other. So I don't know if I
Well, that,
have. I don't know if I should give her a couple more meals because they're eating weekly.
oh no, I mean, I think that's fine. I was just curious since being a runt, sometimes there's, problems that maybe wouldn't feed, but that's good that she's eating on her own.
Oh yeah, she's eating on her own. She's eating little bit of like crawler mice. I think I'm gonna bump her up to like pinky rat, and see if
Mhm,
she does well with that. Just to see if that'll kind of push her on growth wise a little bit more. Because she's just staying really tiny, compared to the sibling. The sibling is almost a foot long compared to her.
mhm,
Um, but she's got a really unique pattern if she cooperates.
mhm,
Let me see. I'll solo out real quick and show you. This pattern's all broken up. So it just doesn't have really like perfect diamonds like most. You see
mhm.
there, going all the way through. It's super weird, but it's just a really unique pattern. And then towards the end here, she gets this really weird red tint. I don't know. Super cool though. And a lot of them got this. If I can get her to sit still for a second. That black stripe going all the way up. Thought that was super super weird. Because we've had quite a few rattlesnakes born, like just relocating. Because we're in our area, the fire department refuses to deal with the venomous snakes. And it's because 2 of their guys have been bit while relocating,
Mhm,
and so they just refuse to answer those calls anymore. And so I get those calls, and I'll go out there and relocate them. And sometimes when I get them, that extra stress of just picking them up out of wherever they are inside these people's homes or garages. When I put them in the bucket, and it's just a quick pickup, light pickup, put them in the bucket, close the lid. Um,
mhm,
but sometimes they end up giving birth in our buckets, and I've never seen any look like that. Like just most of them are copy and paste, either like really gray, faded out with a nice pattern on them, but just normal perfect diamonds though. Nothing like the weird, like out of the ordinary. But this
mhm.
one was just really weird to me. Stripe down the tail, the imperfect diamonds on almost all of them. I thought that was really, really like a unique thing. So I just had to keep a couple of the babies. But the runt, I think if I was to let her go, when I released the rest of them, I don't think she would have made it.
Mhm. Now, with the Arizona black, that's one of my favorite species, I'll be honest. They're beautiful.
So
Do you
she
find them often?
So I find them here and there. If I go out and look for them, they're up in 2 places. They're up closer up north towards Flagstaff area, and then I get a good amount of them heading towards Tucson. So I find those periodically. Really really cool animals. Here, I'll give you a good look. You see Solo out. So this is my girl. I just had to clean her cage out. I got to get her water dish out. But this is her, and she's like a gold tint for some reason. Very
Yeah, people
abnormal.
can't understand how beautiful. You have to see them in person. They're incredible.
They are. They really are. And not all of them are the same. Like
Mhm.
each is different in its own way. Like some are more like jet black. Um, and then others are, like this one. She's more of like a yellowish black color to her, which works for me because I like black and gold, logo.
Mhm.
um, and she is actually one of my favorite snakes. Now with her, I was gifted her by a friend of mine, and she was actually, I guess, field collected, but she's been a long-term captive for a while now. I think about 6 years. Um, she does not rattle for nothing, like feeding, nothing. Like even when I go to pull her out of her cage to service the rest of her cage,
Mhm.
she doesn't rattle at me. She'll strike, but she does not give a warning rattle, nothing. Um, and I've tried to do the frozen thawed with her. She won't take frozen thawed. She won't even touch them. So I have to feed her live. Her, you really got to watch out for because if it moves, it's done. Her sight is on point, and she doesn't miss. So that's one of the ones that I really got to watch out with when I have to deal with her. Is
Mhm.
when she strikes with purpose and does not miss. Um, Appreciate you
How,
checking out.
how far is the drive to get where you can find them?
For me, it takes about an hour and a half to get where I can find them,
Mhm.
but it's worth the drive. I go herping a lot. In my area, I actually go out mostly in my area, but I find Mojave Green, Atrox, Sidewinder, and sometimes we'll find speckles out here. Um, and there was just recently a buddy of mine out here found a patternless Atrox. And there is a place out here in Arizona. I won't disclose where it's at because I don't want tons of people to flood that area. But
Mhm.
in Arizona, there is a place that actually has a group of them of wild patternless Western Diamondbacks. And it's super cool when you go out there because sometimes you'll find them like together, or you'll find like just one normal looking Atrox, and then if you look like in the corner or like under the rock somewhere, 9 times out of 10 you'll find a normal and an Atrox together, or a normal Atrox and a patternless Atrox within the same area.
So you found the patternless too?
Oh, I found patternless out here. That was before I was able to keep them back where I'm at right now.
Mhm.
If I want to go make a trip back out there, and I want to keep a pair of them if I can. Now my
How
goal, I've
far is
been
the
trying
drive
to
for
get
that?
that one's about an hour too. That one's about an hour.
Man, I'd love to come out herping with you sometime if you're okay with that.
For sure, yeah. If you ever come, I tell everybody, if you guys ever come out to Arizona and you guys want to do a herping trip, I'm down to take everybody out and just go see what we can find. Because it's really cool. I love taking everybody out herping to find stuff. The one night I took two guys that are local out here, and they're like, oh well, every time we go out, we don't really find anything and stuff like that. Or the one guy was only finding venomous. So I was like, you guys out, and I'll take you to my what I call the honey hole. We
Mhm.
go out, and that night we found 35 rattlesnakes. What is herping? Herping is when you go out looking for like herpetoculture, so like frogs, toads, anything reptile. You're looking for anything in its natural environment, like any reptile out in its natural environment. Um, Shout out to US Art for sure. Appreciate you, Aaron.
What's the most
Aaron.
most common, I'd guess, non-venomous that you come across?
That's a tough one. That's either between the California king snake or the gopher snake. In my area where I go and find a lot of stuff, like a lot of the venomous, I find a lot of the shovel nose or long nose. Um, it's weird. I always find those more than I find like the um, like if I go like 30 minutes from my house, I'll find like 30 minutes, say heading towards California, you'll find a ton of Cali king snakes. Especially if you start heading like up north as well, you'll find a lot of Cali king snakes. In my area, it's the shovel nose or the long nose snake. The most or the rarest snake I found in my area, like around my home, is the lyre snake. I can't. I've only found two. Um, and then the more elusive venomous out here, coral snake. I find them. I've only ever found one, and it's
And
that's one of the hardest ones for me to find.
the shovel nose, they have a tricolor pattern, don't they?
Yep. Yeah, they're pretty cool looking pattern on them. Same with like the long nose. There's subtle differences in them, but their pattern is almost identical. All I find is garter snakes. See, if I go up north, I'll find a ton of garter snakes. Down here, we don't find those much out here. I only find those up towards closer like Flagstaff, Camp Verde area. More up north, I see black racers more than anything else here. That's about right. Black racers are pretty cool. We get the coach whips out here sometimes, and I know a lot of people say that I don't ever say there's a aggressive snake, more defensive, but coach whips are just like out here. Those things are just nasty. Like I remember I was helping this lady out. I was helping her build a chicken coop, and because I'm on farmland, and I was helping her out, and she's had chicken in this thing for about 2 weeks now. But I was helping her fix a nesting box and stuff. Sure enough, here comes this friggin' mean mess with the bedding, right? And I thought it was too cold for anything to really be out, so I didn't really like double check anything. And sure enough, here comes this freaking pink-looking snake right at my face, just shot out of the hay. Oh, the thing bit me like 6 times and then just took off. I was like, "What the hell?" I think it was mad. They're wicked fast. So there's like you're lucky if you can actually like catch them once they're in like full slither mode. They're gone.
They're actually beautiful too.
In the open, by chance, but they're fast. They're beautiful though out here. They're like a pinkish red color. What about? I don't know. Looking for just. That type of conversation. I have Gila monsters in my yard when I take them outside. Oh yeah, Brad, you got Gila monsters, man. You're lucky. I can't until I get my education license. When I get my education license, best believe, I'm getting Gila monsters. A friend of mine out here runs a rattlesnake zoo, and he calls it Rattlesnake Ranch, and I love it. That facility is amazing. He has almost every species of rattlesnake. There's a couple he's missing, but for the most part, he's got a good majority of them. And he's got the morphs, got tons of awesome stuff. We did some videos, but what I'm gonna do is he invited us to come back out and bring people to his facility. So what I've been telling everybody, if you guys come out here, I want to do like a big herping trip with a bunch of YouTubers and stuff like that. And I want to take you guys to his facility to go look at all those rattlesnakes too. I think it'd be super cool. So if you come out, just know we go to that facility.
I wonder if it's that one that he posted. Was it? I'll have to check. Did he get like a very red rattlesnake? I can't even remember what species it was.
Yep. That's him, dude. He got that, and I've been excited to go back ever since he's gotten it. I want to see it in person. I know exactly which one you're talking about, and it looks gnarly. I love the way that snake looked. Yeah, he's the one. So if you guys see the Gila monster in my videos, that is his Gila monster. That's Cheeto. And Cheeto is a puppy dog, super chill, super relaxed animal. I think I see a rattlesnake. So he just cast. It was a venomous podcast. And I thought it was super cool. I got to talk to him. His name is Cody. He's a really awesome guy. I got to talk to him to see if he's going to jump on here with us now that everything's kind of coming out, what he's doing, everything coming out of brumation. Because we got some videos of the brumation room that he has, and it's incredible. Like his whole facility is just on point. I love it. So definitely something we got to visit when you come out here.
Definitely. What's up, Brad? Good to see you here.
Yeah, I love Brad. Brad's an awesome dude. Red bellied black. Awesome. Yeah, that snake's pretty cool. All right, so do you have a favorite morph to venomous?
Did you say favorite morph? Sorry, it broke up a little.
Yeah, favorite morph on venomous.
Honestly, I have no idea. Maybe albino, I guess. I'm not too knowledgeable on morphs, so hard to say. But some of the albino monocle cobras are very beautiful.
Ooh.
Not all of them. Josh Martin, that's my friend right there. He loves leucistic monocle cobras, but they're just way too expensive for me.
I know. Q had one, and I adored that thing. It was beautiful. Let's see. If you could take any morph from like a ball python and give it to any reptile, what would it be and why? Say if the reptile didn't already have that morph.
Like I said, I don't know any of the morphs, so let's just say the Rodriguez special. Now, the morphs that I do have
I like it.
Are melanistic Western Diamondback and albino monocle cobra. I think those are the two morphs that I have.
Melanistic, that's almost all black, right?
Yeah, this one is very beautiful. I'll see. Some are very black. She has. You can still see her pattern and stuff. So it's not as dark as some of the ones I've seen, but she's so beautiful, especially the tail pattern. With that black and white. But on hers, it's incredible.
That is really cool. I'm gonna have to see if you posted any videos of that one, because I'm gonna have to check that out. That is actually really cool. Because I've only seen 2 of those. Oh wow!
It's hard to see, of course, but
I got you. Wow.
She's big too. She's like 5 foot, but she's a little defensive, little difficult to deal with.
Typical Aatrox.
Yeah.
What is a morph? Like crossbreed snake? No, morph is like So like let's put it this way. So this is. I'm going to use a ball python because that's the closest thing to me. So this is a normal morph, just normal. That's how you find them in the wild. This is huge. It's just a Volta. That's why she's typically like twice the size of most ball pythons. But this is just what you would consider a wild type. Then what a morph is this the same snake, but a different mutation. So like this one here, there's a coral glow. So this is just a different, same type of snake, just different mutation. So this one's more yellow and craziness. But that's a morph. It's just a different type of color paint job, or different mutation than the wild type, or the wild type stuff there. Are we feeding? No, not on this live. No. This is our interview lives. I don't do anything crazy like that. Airsoft Ranch freezingly. Oh, am I? Am I freezing really bad?
It's pretty laggy.
All right, give me 1 second. Let me see if it'll fix this.
Yeah, so it's just think of it, Landon, as a mutation. So that normal one, compared to an albino, I have one copperhead, little tiny one. Benjamin, good to see you.
There we go. Is that better? I had to switch to data because I think the Wi-Fi is too strained out right now.
So this, although it's banded, there's some that are normal, but it's not a morph because it's naturally occurring. Although, mutations can happen out in the wild, but also different color patterns. So some are like olive color, snouted cobra. Some are banded, naturally occurring, depending on where they are. Just like timber rattlesnake, some are black, some are tannish brown, but that's normal, not a morph. So the morph is just a mutation. This one right here, yeah, it's a banded snouted cobra. Now I'll bring a cobra in that will hood up and hiss so you can see what that's like. But I'll show you that in a bit. Whenever you guys like and subscribe to the host.
Appreciate you. Sorry, buddy. I switched from Wi-Fi to data, so hopefully that fixes it.
It's no problem.
That's a cobra. Yeah, so that was a cobra. Not all cobras. Most of the time when they hood up and show like the typical cobra like stance, it's because of their more of a defensive posture. That one showed no defensive posture, just kind of just hanging out. But the most times when they really hood up is more of a defensive posture than anything else. Your camera was very laid back. It was very laid back. He's just sitting there holding that thing that had no care in the world.
Yeah, this one's great. In the majority of them, it's usually that first initial where you get it out, they'll be defensive, then it'll go back to normal. So most of them are, that I work with at least, very laid back. I could probably touch her face if I wanted to. Lucky geckos. Yep, they're from the hood.
No, Lucky Geckos is here. Great. Here we go. No, Lucky Gecko is a good friend of mine. He's also one of the main people out here in Arizona. There's a group of people that go herping called Crotalus Crew. And he's actually one of the main people there. And that one I was telling you about, the blue speckled, and the Cerberus actually came from him. But the blue speckled is actually the mascot of Crotalus Crew. She was actually their first captive breeding of blue specks. So she was the first prodigy of that. And now she's over here. Are you guys immune to venom? I don't think there's anybody that's really immune to venom. More high tolerance to it. I know there's a guy that injects himself with venom. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But that guy, I remember watching a video. He took a bite from a cobra, and he was like, "Yep, that was a good one," and just kept on doing what he was doing. Was the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Ooh. Check out this Eastern Diamondback shed. Look how big this snake is. This is one from my work.
That is a good shed too.
Yeah, I invert them using tweezers. You know how people cut down the middle?
Yeah.
I take the time and invert it so you can see the patterns much more defined. I'm addicted to it. I always invert them.
I do the same thing, and it's funny. I did it on live a couple weeks ago with Karen. I had to help her shed out and use my tongs and held onto it and helped pull. And when she went to slither away from me, it pulled it all the way off. And then while it was still like new, I was trying to fold it back in and get it all ready to go. I ended up doing a giveaway, and I shipped that to one of our followers, and she's got that now. And it's really cool. I love doing that because you get so much more pattern that way than you do just inside out. Bam, bam. There's a guy that can take a bite from Black Mamba. What? No way.
Tim Freed or Fry.
Oh, that's his name. That's what we were talking about. Because one person asked, "Are you guys immune to venom?" And I was like, "I don't think anybody's really immune to it. More just has a high tolerance of it." So, like I myself, I'm not immune by any means, but I've been bit by Crotalus atrox, which is the Western Diamondback. I've been bit 7 times. Don't recommend it. It sucks. Most of the times when I was a kid. But I've been hit 7 times by this where I have a higher tolerance to it, a natural antibodies to fight said venom off. Now I got lucky because most people, when you get bit by something venomous, it goes the complete opposite way. You're more susceptible to that venom when you get bit. So I got lucky, and now if I get bit, I can go take a nap and I'll be okay. I'll still get the side effects of, this pertains to Western Diamondback, but if I get bit, I'll still get the cold sweats just a little bit. I'll get a little bit of swelling on my arm, and then sometimes I'll get a little bit of nausea, but that's about it. Other than that, I'm good to go. I don't need to go get anti-venom. But if I get bit by anything else in this room, oh yeah, I'm screwed. Hospital we go. I have bite protocols for every species for Arizona, but I especially have the ones labeled for who we have here. So if I do get tagged by anything, I have the bite protocols to take to the hospital with me. And I believe anybody that keeps venomous should have bite protocols, because just because it's a hospital doesn't mean they know what they're doing. Let's see. So what do you breed your venomous?
So I've only bred 3 times. Saw scale vipers, bush vipers, and monocle cobras, just to see if I could. And then now I have rink owls together. So that's one that I'm trying to do. And then maybe the bush vipers again, just because they're so awesome.
Benji, I can time you out. You guys are making fun. Don't leave Benji alone. I gotta do it. I'm on one phone, guys, so I will be able to give people blue after the live. If I haven't done it, I do apologize. There's a few of you guys that I've been meaning to do, but sometimes I forget to. Let's see. So, what is your goal as a venomous keeper?
My goal to just continue to teach people the importance of them, to I don't know, I guess be a positive role model to people that want to learn about, like, get into the hobby. And that's about it. I don't know.
No, I like it. I like it. You do a lot of really good educational videos. And I've seen a couple of your reaction videos from some other like venomous keepers. And I've seen like the way you do that. And you always turn something that was negative into a positive. And that was another reason why, like I said, I wanted to bring you on is we need more people. I believe we need more people like you in the hobby. We need more people talking about this and, shedding a better light on venomous than just something that's out to get you. And like more commonly right now, I think it's becoming more and more mainstream for bite videos, even not just venomous, but like non-venomous, there's all these videos people do like 30 minutes worth of videoing, but if they get bit, that's now the key of the whole focus of the video now is, or they'll talk about it and then let it bite them, and now there's their video, um and so that's not your videos, and that's what another reason, I love what you do over there. Everything's professional. You're always really upbeat about what you're talking about, and you're a very knowledgeable guy. I've learned a lot about venomous from you and watching your videos. um
I
so I
appreciate that.
appreciate you taking the time to jump on with us and share your passion and some of your animals with us. How many albino do you have, Mark? 2. How is the breeding process done, other than obvious between male and female snakes?
I show the female picture of Josh, the guy that asked how many monocle cobras I have, and then I think same for the male. I just show them both a picture of Josh, and they're ready in the mood. Airsoft asked if he can see a cobra hood. Do you mind if I go grab another one really quick?
Yep, you're good. Yeah, yeah. I'd be awesome.
And then you can actually answer his question. I was being silly. For some of them, you
Very
cool
good, I
them
got
down
you.
to lower temperatures, and then when you raise it up,
Yep.
it gets them in that mood. And thank you, Fry. You're the best. Thank you so much.
Mark is genuine and a kind person too. He is one of my favorite people ever. Right on. So I made a good choice of bringing people on. I try to, at least. Would you ever go to the rattlesnake roundup in Texas? Me personally, I've never been to one. I don't say I support them, but I'm curious to go and see how things are done and I don't want to say what's the purpose of it, but to see really what's the purpose of it. Because I really have no idea. Just human reptiles. But let's see. So you turn up the heat for the heat. Yeah. So some snakes you have to bring down. So like, for some instances, like reptiles in general. So, ball pythons, I actually lower my temps for ball pythons for females, and then when I add them together, once I warm them back up and kind of hit that mark, you'll see them. They'll start eating. Same with like Western Diamondbacks. Or like in anything crotalus, they brumate, meaning it's just the same as hibernation, but brumate for reptiles. It gets cold out there, so they'll sleep. They kind of shut their body down just enough to where they're not running at full capacity, so they don't lose as much weight. They're just running the major functions, heart, lungs, things like that. But everything else is really slowed down, so that way they don't burn through too much calories and fat, because it's so cold they can't function. Can you keep any venomous snake you find in Arizona? Not any, no. So in Arizona, you can only have 4 of each native species, with a valid hunting license, which is weird. Why hunting license, I don't know, but is what it is. And you can only keep 4 of each species, but there are protected species in Arizona. The twin spot, there's quite a few different protected that you can't touch. I'm glad you clarified, Fred, because I was just wondering. So with you. For ranking, some guy was telling me to keep them at 20 degrees for 3 months to be able to keep breathe. And that's what not. I mean, I don't know. It's about 20, but I know lower temps for sure. You have to, when you brumate anything before breeding, you do have to really lower the temperatures down quite a bit. But I don't know about 20 degrees. That's really low. What's the most venomous or the Mojave Green or the Black Mamba? Black Mamba. Like, hands down, it's the Black Mamba. Like, drop for drop, it's got it for sure. No, I don't do it. No live feedings today, chat. The anything for feeding is weekends. I don't have anything to feed off today. Everybody's in shed. Um, for the most part, everybody's in shed or just shedding out, like Kyle's sibling. Inland taipan is the most venomous. Yes. All right, buddy, you got the floor. I'm gonna solo you out.
All right. Well, before I bring this snake out, just want to remind y'all the hooding up and hissing, it's going to look like the snake is mean, but you got to think about it from their point of view. A big potential predator, big ape, is a potential predator. They see it as a threat. So he's just trying to get me to leave him alone. This is B-Pack, the black Pakistan cobra, and he is in shed right now. You'll see in his eyes, see that blue?
Beautiful.
Clears up. Now this is the guy that's on the shirt. One of my all-time favorites. I love black, love cobras. But you can see
that is a beauty.
Yeah, I love this snake so much. But yeah, like I was saying, each have different personalities. So his brother or sister can be completely laid back. He's just scared. But if given the opportunity, he will go the opposite way. And that's what I love snakes. They're not going to backstab you. They'll do everything to have you leave them alone. And then the bite reactions that we were talking about that I've been doing, one thing is I might use a lot of clickbait now just to get people to click. But in those videos, you would think it's common sense that when somebody messes with an animal, if they get bit, that people would understand that it's the person's fault. I'm just trying to show that it's a person's fault. The blame gets put on the snake, which is ridiculous. Most of the videos that I post are people out in the wild trying to grab it behind the head and they get bit. And when they put the blame on the snake, that's just ridiculous. Same with any animal. If you go out and try to mess with any animal and you get hurt, the animal shouldn't have to suffer. And it should be, or should go without saying, but that's not the case. Everybody puts the blame on the animal and they just don't deserve that. But yeah, I try to be positive even to those people that mess with them, unless that they're actively hurting the snake. But even then, I try to word it in the most polite way because I'm not out to be hateful. I'm trying to help show the truth. I know I rambled a bit, but hopefully you're able to follow. Hopefully, yeah. See, he said, please understand. And Landon, this isn't even that loud. I feel like I don't know if it's because he's in shed, but it doesn't sound as loud as he typically does. It's usually a lot louder. Think of it like a blow-off valve on a turbo.
That is beautiful. And I love what you're talking about there because that, like I say to everybody, it's not the snake's fault.
Yeah, he's about to go through shed. Getting bigger. Very beautiful. Yeah, there's one video where this guy's messing with the king cobra and he gets bit. And they end up killing the snake. And that's ridiculous because king cobras are endangered. He's the one messing with it. And yeah, that one is one that I need to figure out how to word because it does make me upset because this is an animal that takes many years to get sexually mature, endangered, and it had to suffer because this fool couldn't leave it alone.
Nope, I agree 100%. I know which video you're talking about, and I've had it sent to me a few times, and I thought about doing like a reaction to that. I can't be professional and watch that video. It infuriates me seeing that because they are, like you said, endangered. and it takes them so long to actually hit maturity to be able to breed. And it's not the snake's fault. They're over here messing with it, and because it bit the guy, which was 100% his fault. Like I tell people, even if you like people that ask me, if you see a rattlesnake or you see a snake or venomous snake in general, what do you do? Well, if you don't want to get bit, turn around and go the other way, or go around it. It's not out to get you.
So even that one that you were talking about, Karen, all people have to do is just walk away from. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And
like
Landon,
right now, I'm away from her. She's just fine. But if I go over there, it's a different story.
But Landon, I've never been bit in general by a venomous snake, and very few by non-venomous.
You're very lucky. I don't recommend it.
I don't plan on it.
So you have a question. What permits in your state do you have to have for venomous? PA is a hell of a place. No. How long does it take them to mature? I believe that is in response to the king cobra.
I think it's like upwards of 7 years or something crazy.
I think you're right. It's like 7-8 years for a female to be mature enough. I think you're right. It's about that because I remember it was pretty close. It was almost, or it wasn't as insane as like the tuatara that has to wait 30 years to be bred.
Mm-hmm. And even like you were saying, think about all the babies. The babies to reach adults, they're already prey to other animals. And so very few are going to make it to that. And then when people are out there hurting them, that's even worse.
It's all good, Texas kid. Appreciate you. Yeah, no, and that's 100% true. Before anybody asks, yes, when they're born, any venomous snake when they are born actually comes out fully intact, venom and all ready to use. They just don't have much control of it, but they don't have a lot of venom to really work with in general. They're tiny babies, so their venom packs are really small up until adulthood. So it's not that they really can't control the venom; it's just they don't have a lot to really work with in general. What link? That was because it was hoping you didn't see it. You didn't see it. If I stay still, you won't see me.
Yeah, I think Asher. Is that for you?
I think that's me. Yeah, Lucy was short for Lucifer. She was a reticulated that I had that went to a zoo. She was abused before I got her, and royally neglected. And she was and is so defensive that if you come in her vicinity, she thinks that she's in danger. So she would 100% strike and go out. I won't say go out of her way to get you, but she wanted a piece of you. She was one of the ones that I had to cover the glass with our brown butcher paper, so she can't see out. Because if she saw out, she would slam the glass trying to get you every single time. She was very, very defensive.
I think around 30 for the king cobra, Matthew.
I think cobras live about 30, 35. But still can kill. What about Lucy? Would she seek people out? No, so she wouldn't really seek you out, but if she felt like she was cornered, Like when I took her outside, it wasn't that bad as long as I didn't touch her. She would try to run away from me, but if I touched her, that's when she would come at me. But coming out of her cage, again, she's in a large cage, but she's still backed in. So back corner, only way out front, and there's a giant, like he explained, there's a person in front of him, potential predator. They get defensive that way, so she felt like she was in a backed in corner, and she just would not be a fan. How far away would you have had to been away from Lucifer for her to strike? Oh no, I mean, I was maybe 15 feet away from her while she was sitting in an open area, and she was still in defense mode. But she didn't strike at me. But once I was within like at least a 6 to 8 foot difference from her, she was just
Did you ever
mouth
get bit by
open
her?
trying to get me. No, she was luckily no. She's 18 feet. She was a big mainland. I had to really watch my back with her. She was one of those ones that I had to actually throw food to, and she would catch it in midair and wrap it. And that was the only way I could service her cage and her water and everything. She had broken glass, hitting the glass so hard, trying to get me before. So that's why she ended up going to the zoo. And they're gonna do a tint on the inside to where she can't see out, but people can see in. So that way she's not so stressed out. But they wanted a really big snake for their display. So I gave her to them. So that way she had a bigger space than I could give her, and she wouldn't be as stressed out because they did the whole tinting thing. What is the most venomous snake that Mark has or owns?
So the worst
I
one to
don't
get
know.
bit by would be the black Pakistan, because there's no anti-venom in the United States. So maybe that'll answer your
That
question.
is gnarly.
Yeah.
That is gnarly. What are they? They're not. Are they Cyto?
These, it's hard to find the specific about their venom because they're Naja Naja, which is the Indian cobra. They're just a subspecies.
Yeah.
So everything that I find, it's very hard to find the exact about this one, since they're more toxic based on, the prey
Right.
that they would eat compared. But I think it's mainly neurotoxic. And yeah, now I'm forgetting exactly what else, but primarily neurotoxic.
I think it was. See, and it's so hard to talk cobras because then it just upsets me. I miss my buddy.
I think cardiotoxins
But-
too, but I don't want to
I think that's what it. I think you're right, because I remember talking to Quentin about it, and I think that's what he was saying was the cardio and neuro. But I'm not entirely sure if that's true or not. Because he said as well, it just depends on where they're at and what they were eating. So it's it's a tough one. Learned a lot already. Thanks. I don't see how people can abuse any animal. Yeah, I agree. It was really sad. When I got her. Is it possible for Mark to own a king cobra? I don't know. Is it?
It's possible.
They're
But not
expensive as
something
hell.
Expensive, and Asher, I don't know if you know, they are snake eaters. So having a source of snake to feed them is something I don't have. I do work with one at my job, but no interest in personally keeping any of the bigger stuff. And yeah, rest in peace to Quentin, one of the best people out there. And yeah, can't say
He
enough
was like my
about
little
him.
brother. He was a good dude. He was like my little brother. I remember talking with him about any question I had for venomous. I was the hell with Google. I just called him.
Yeah.
I was like, I remember he would always make fun of me for like the stupidest thing. Oh, because he's been bit by, you know what he got bit by. And then
Mm.
I've been bit by the Aatrox. And so he'd always make fun of me. He's like, you know what? He's I may have been bit by some, some crazy stuff, but at least I didn't take a bite from no Aatrox. He's all, or just makes fun of me. And that was just his way of always fucking with people. But he was a good guy. For people that knew him, if anybody that's curious to know more about Quentin, because I know there's a lot of craziness going on with him, in his passing. This is one of our Who Are Yous. If you guys are, we did one with Quentin way back when, before we actually labeled it Who Are You. And it's called Let's Talk Venomous. And it's way down in one of our lives. You'll have to go to the live tab and go all the way down. But we did a big podcast with Quentin. It was while he was still in Missouri in that big old shed. And he had a ton. He still had a ton of venomous. He brought a ton of them out. Dude was full of life. What happened to Quentin? He had passed away. Death was not snake related, but there's a lot of people speculating that it was, and just some craziness. But he was a cool dude, very very knowledgeable guy. He lived and breathed venomous. This was his passion for sure. Mark has been helping me deal with this. His great loss along with people. I think that one's all for you, buddy.
Fry is one of the. We actually met, like actually talked, Fry and I, during a live stream that I dedicated to him. So if it wasn't for Quentin, who knows? Maybe, I don't know if Fry was already subscribed, but that's where we met, and it's just a beautiful thing. Even after that, helping bring people together. He's just a great guy.
For sure. And that was his thing too. I think I've met so many awesome people that were just friends with Quentin. Actually, I think to be honest, I believe that's how I met you too, was through Quentin. He
Really?
told me to, Quentin told me about you a few times. And I remember him and I were live on Instagram, and he was trying to get you to join, but it was like late as hell your time. And he was like, come on, jump on. And you're like, no, I'm not doing it. And then we had talked for a slight amount. You were in the comments, and that's how we met originally. I don't know if you remember or not. But that's actually how I met you and knew about you, was through Quentin. And afterwards he had explained, like, that you're a really good friend of his, and that you keep a ton of awesome stuff like he does. And he had nothing but good things to say about you as well. But
I remember being super, super nervous to go live. I still get that way, but we planned to go live again because him and I went live one time, and then I was like, man, I need to ease myself into it, because I don't know, something about just clicking live, it always makes me nervous. So
I definitely get it. I used to be that way all the time. Like when I first started doing lives, like I could do take like video edits and do that, and I was okay, because like if I sounded dumb, I could just be like, okay, I'm gonna edit that out and I'm gonna redo that. But on live, you say something, you're like, fucked up.
It's like I forget everything I know as soon as it doesn't even matter how well I know something in my head. It's like it all goes out the window. But it's been getting easier because recently I've been trying to do it more.
That's awesome. Yeah, I remember he was trying to get me to he wanted to do like a Venomous live, and he wanted to get you, me, and I think Chad. I can't remember who else he was talking about. He wanted to get another big person on. And we wanted to just talk about just Venomous, and since he had a bit of everything, he wanted to get people that had, specifics. So like, you with your Lapids, me, Crotalus, and then he was trying to find somebody that just had something that neither of us had. And he wanted to do like this big live. But I never, and once he moved, he had talked about it a couple times, but then I didn't hear anything from him for a while about that.
Mhm.
And I kind of wish we did it though. I kind of wish we did it. That's something I think I might do for him is get other venomous keepers together and just talk, kind of like he was thinking about, as a memento for him type thing.
Definitely, that'd be awesome.
For those that didn't know, there is a memorial for Quentin on the 8th in Missouri. So if you guys knew Quentin and you're in the Missouri area or anything, there is that. And there's also a GoFundMe for his family to help with the burial and stuff. If you guys would like to help with that, I'll be posting that later on. I just got the link for it today. So I'll make sure to be putting that in my link tree and put that in my story and stuff, and I'll share it out for you guys. It is still not official on how Quentin passed. No, it is still not official. They did state that they rolled out venomous snake. The bite that was on his wrist that everybody was like, oh, it was a black mamba. It was not. It was a non-venomous bite. Quentin was an awesome person. Yeah. There was a whole thing that was he was supposed to go like travel states and do like a big herping trip. I think he was talking about doing a big herping thing with Dingo, coming out to Arizona and finding different venomous in different states, doing like a huge trip. And definitely sad that he wasn't able to come out to Arizona to do that. We had like this whole thing planned out. I told him he was going to camp in my backyard, right where I can put my hose. But yeah, he was a cool dude. I didn't get the chance to know Quentin, but sending prayers to him and his family. Well, I appreciate that. I know I know they do too. If you ever want to know more about Quentin, like I said, we did the Who Are You with him as well. If you guys want to go check that video out, it kind of really, that video, it's a long video. I'm not going to lie. It's a long video. Because he liked to ramble, but it was him, that was his way of showing his passion about his animals. He was very, very passionate about venomous in general. And so I think that was like a 6-hour video with him. Yeah, it was nuts. But like, I mean, I'm always up for it. Like I was like, I set time up now. Not nowadays, I don't set it like 6 hours aside, but I already saved it. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, he if you guys want to learn about him, and learn like how kind of like get to understand him on a more of a personal level, that would be the video to check out. Because like I said, the Who Are Yous are all about you guys, and to see what, like, experience your passion about what you work with and what you guys do. And that's why I like doing these, is something to look back on, But let's keep going. I know I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know it's getting late over there. So I do apologize. I know daylight savings has everybody messed up.
And that's no problem at all. But yeah, ask any other questions, and I will answer to the best of my ability.
Right on. So I think you already answered my, what is your most anticipated pairing or hatching this season? Let's see. If you had the chance to own any reptile, say you have the permits, experience needed, money wasn't a factor, what would you own and why? And you can own one or a pair.
Probably long-nosed viper.
Ooh, that's a new one. I like it.
See, since Fry asked this, that brings up something else. But I really love the long-nosed viper. There's one at my work, but they're not super spectacular, but they're just so cool looking with the zigzag pattern and their European snake. It's just they're super beautiful to me.
Really unique animal.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. That is really cool. That is a first for the channel. 100%, that is a first. Um, let's see. If you had, now this one I'll pertain to for venomous, because normally I have it worded a different way. If somebody came to you wanting to keep venomous, or wanting to get into keeping venomous, and asked for your advice, what would your advice be to a new keeper trying to get into venomous?
Probably start with a black mamba and see how that goes. You know, that's a difficult one. I guess the go-to is try to find somebody that will help, but also practice with non-venomous. Like I said, I've been bit very few times, like less than 10 times since I was a kid. And the most of them were intentional, just to show somebody that, you know, it doesn't hurt, nothing to be afraid of. But like my whole life, I was practicing catching without getting bit, even with non-venomous, practicing using the hook so that it was like an extension, so I could control it, you know? So
Yep.
to find somebody that you can learn from, practice with non-venomous. But the main thing is, yeah, I guess be in it for the right reason. You know, a lot of times where I try to help people, it seems like it really broke my heart that, you know, they're clearly there for a different intention. Now I'm very wary about having people come.
Right. No, I get it.
But yeah, it's just how it is.
I had somebody that wanted to be so what he's trying to say is find a mentor, somebody that'll teach you the ropes without you having to do it yourself. And I agree to that 100%. Because there are so many people that jump into this thinking that you can handle these the same way you can use non-venomous, and it's not true. Each one of these animals demands their respect. One slip up and you're in the hospital. It's not a joke. These animals can take your life. Certain ones can take your life if you don't get the correct treatment. And they're beautiful animals. Don't get me wrong. I love venomous. If I could, I would own a lot more than I have right now. But at the same time, I may be able to do certain things with these animals that others can't. So like I showed you guys the two difference between the siblings, Kyle and Kyle's brother. I can handle Kyle. Kyle's super sweet. Kyle's, demeanor is good. Kyle's sibling, on the other hand, that's a pistol. It's defensive, ready to pop at any time. And that's not saying he's aggressive. It's just he doesn't want to be messed with. He doesn't like it. And that's just with any snake. Some are okay, tolerate us handling them. Some just don't want to be messed with. And it just depends on the animal itself. But I definitely agree, if you can find a mentor, to at least try. Hooks are your best friend, keeping distance but control of the animal. 100%. That's why I got the hook up here. I've got a hook over there, and then I got my tiny little baby hook. It extends though. I got my tiny little baby hook for the tiny stuff, like the sidewinders and stuff. Well, this one I don't use for the sidewinders anymore. It had a little more to it, but I broke it. Don't get these aluminum hooks from Petco or PetSmart. They're terrible. They are horrible.
Yeah, they break easy.
They do. I learned the hard way. I was like, "Give me a hook, real quick," and I was moving a really cantankerous little Atrox, but it was a heavy-bodied Atrox, and I'm holding the back end of this piece here, and it being aluminum, it just snapped. Like, it just gave out. I was like, why? So I'm holding it like this, and now it's broken, and it's all like in a V shape. So I just had to break that piece off, and now I've got this much left to work with. I was like, aluminum sucks. Don't recommend it. Hate that hook, but I use it for the tiny stuff like the Kyle sibling. And then everything else is all either that hook or one of the other two. Atrox. Okay, sorry. Atrox is Western Diamondback. It's just a lot easier to say than Western Diamondback rattlesnake. Just say Atrox. It makes life a lot easier. It's like quicker. But yeah, I know I keep confusing people thinking you guys know Latin names. That is something I need to work on. Because I do that with when I talk to like my family about venomous. I'm like, oh yeah, I was just messing with Atrox. What the hell is that? um, I remember I said Atrox once, and my dad thought something about chicken pox. I don't even know. Yeah, I had no idea what he was saying. He was all confused. But no, I do agree 100% with your advice on trying to get into venomous. I don't recommend people getting bit. It sucks. 100% it sucks. Take that firsthand. I didn't learn my lesson. Most of my bites though wasn't because I was messing with them, is either because I was hiking in Arizona and when I was a kid and I either stepped in a bush or I fell on one, and either way I either stepped on it or sat on it, and that's how I got bit most of my times. That's just a Latin name for it. Cool. Yeah, that's the scientific name. Is just Crotalus atrox. Anything with a rattle is typically Crotalus. I don't think there's much that has a rattle that isn't under Crotalus, but I could be wrong. I don't know, Mark, am I wrong?
So again, you said there's not
much with a rattle that isn't under Crotalus that I'm aware of.
The pygmies, the Cestrurus. Can't pronounce that
Okay,
right. But yeah, that's just for the pygmy rattlesnakes. But the actual ones, I guess. Crotalus.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes. Hi everyone. Glad I didn't miss. No, you did because we're at the end. You missed us. It's all good though. But I appreciate you jumping on and sharing your passion with us. I don't want to take up too much of your time because I do know it is late. But I do appreciate you coming on and sharing your passion with us and talking and showing your animals. I think the most precious thing somebody can give you is their time. So for you to jump on with me, I appreciate that.
I appreciate you having me on, allowing me to come. Like Josh said, I can't even pronounce that. Pygmies and Massasaugas. I always
Massasauga.
Yeah, they're Cestrurus. And imagine, with the Latin names, the black Pakistan cobra, the Indian cobra is Naja. So
Naja.
It gets so confusing. So people are like,
there was one guy I heard call it Naya, and I was dying. That was one way to piss off Quentin too. Is just say Naya. He's like, yeah, and I'm done.
And watch that be the correct way to say it too. But yeah, I really appreciate you having me on. I would love to, if you would come on to maybe a live stream of mine, and I can ask you some similar questions.
Sure, I'd love to. I think that would be super cool. Mm-hmm. Just let me know when, and we'll schedule it out. I'd love to. That'd be awesome.
Definitely, yeah. Because I wanted to ask back many of the questions, but I was thinking in my head, maybe I'll ask you if you wanted to do that.
Yeah. If you ever want to ask questions back to me, you can always do that. Or if you want to just do it on your channel, I'm 100% down with that. That'd be super cool.
But yeah, definitely appreciate you having me on, and I will definitely keep in touch, especially if I'm able to travel this summer to come by.
For sure.
And because I'd like to go herping and stuff in other places, but I'll try to save up and make that.
Like I tell everybody, Arizona is the best place to come out for herping because we have the most diversity when it comes to venomous snakes in the U.S. We have the most species out here. Now we don't have all of them, but we have the majority of venomous in the U.S. out here. The only ones we're missing is like the Pacific rattlesnake, copperheads, cottonmouth, things like that. More like wetland stuff, but most of the desert crotalus stuff, we have it almost all of them here. Don't tell them what. One second.
You're muted.
I am totally muted. I'm over here talking to myself. I hate when I do that. I do that when I play games too. Is I'll mute myself and I'm telling my team stuff, and then like everybody's like, "You're muted if you're talking." I was like, "I've been talking to myself for about 15 minutes, and now you guys tell me like." Wait, is Fry coming to the U.S.? Wait a minute. No way, that'd be awesome. But yeah, no. So we should definitely, if you come out for sure, let me know, and I'll talk to you after this because we're planning to do a lot of traveling. And maybe if we're in your area or something, we'll come by and do like a meet, or come hang out or something.
And definitely, if you're down to work on anything, like collaborate in any other way too, I'm always down to do that too.
For sure, yeah. Like I said, I want to do that one thing, or the one that Q was talking about. Just get a bunch of different venomous keepers on and just talk venomous. And you've got a lot of different species that I don't have. I've got a lot of species that you don't have. So I think it'd be really cool to like just talk about them, to educate people around us. I think that'd be really cool because I know there's not a lot of people doing it. There's a few people that keep a couple venomous, but all they do is just feed them on videos, and that's about it. They don't actually really talk much about them. So I think it'd be something worth doing for sure. But yeah, I'd love to for sure. And then maybe we'll jump on Instagram or something and jump on. That'd be really cool.
Oh, definitely.
Right on, buddy. Well, I appreciate you for jumping on. How can my followers find you?
Mark's Reptiles on. I'm sure maybe if you just type that in, there's an underscore on Instagram, but I'm sure if you just type in Mark's Reptiles, it'll come up, or Mark's Reptiles on YouTube. And yeah, that's pretty much the two places I'm active. I post occasionally on other ones, but I don't pay attention to those as much.
That's about right. That's me. Like Facebook, because we're on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. TikTok are really pushing on right now. YouTube are pushing on a lot. Instagram, I'm there here and there now. I used to be on there daily. But Facebook, it's more of like it posts because I have the Meta business that allows me to post on Instagram and Facebook at the same time. So that's like the only reason we're on that one. Because Facebook's just like dead. But Instagram for sure. I will have his links in our description, guys, so that way even after this video, if you guys want to be able to find him, I will have his links on there for his YouTube and his Instagram, so that way you guys can find it more easily. It'll be on after this video. But I appreciate you, brother. It was awesome live. I learned a little bit about you, and I love what you do on your channel. With all your venomous, I think it's super cool. You're a very inspirational guy, and I love it. So I hope that there's more people like you that come out and start working with reptiles and showing it.
Well, I appreciate that. It means a lot.
All each other guys, the community. Appreciate you, brother. Much love, Fry. Much love, Mrs. Fry. I see you in the comments. Appreciate you. Much love to you as well. Every time I go live, either on Instagram or YouTube, I always see her on. She's a huge supporter, and I love it. Definitely love the Fry family. But much love to you guys. I appreciate you, brother. Until next time, guys, I'll catch y'all on the next one.